We have another scenario as well that we want to check out that we can get some advice on that. Let's see exactly what happens in the next one.
Hello, I'm Ronnie Free. I work with Denso Aegis, Visium Specific. I'm a media accounts manager. I wake up around 5 and 6. I hit the shower, get to the office around like 8. I earn between, let's say, 3 to 6K a month. With my car, I don't like to buy fuel in bits. So I fill the tank. I spend like maybe between 20 to 30 cedis in food. I have a lady that brings fruits for me that costs between like, let's say, around 10 cedis. So basically I spend like around 40 cedis on a daily basis for food. I hang out with the boys. I'm not renting because we have a house. Most people my age that are making some good earnings tends to be spendthrifts because they always have that kind of perception that it will always come at the end of every month. What I would like for Prime Morning to do is, give we the workers a clear education on investment. The working sector, me, my colleagues, you understand, all the working sectors out there, a clear education on what we can do with our money, the kind of investments we can do with our money. If we have understanding like that, then we can make good decisions, you understand? But when there is no clear route, we tend to just spend the money, you understand? So if you guys can help us with knowledge and education on how best we can invest our money, I think it'll be spot on for us.
So you just saw it for yourself. Purely, Ronnie probably is in the age group of about 28 to about 35 in there. And yes, he's earning quite, it might look like it's a lump sum, but there's a lot of cost in there so to survive as a young man at that age. So in understanding Ronnie's situation, between 3,000 to 6,000 Ghana cedis, well, he said he's not renting. So clearly he's in the stage of, he has to start investing. So what would you say, or what do you make of Ronnie's situation?
So I think most young guys, or like my age group, we go through this thing. But it's important that we look at generally what investments are available in Ghana, then we will skew it down to what would suit Ronnie's situation. You understand? Now, but before that, let me distinguish between the investment and the savings.
Right.
So the savings, was, if you remember, he said that sometimes he puts the money aside and we will keep spending it because you know that next one will come. Now, savings is just setting aside money for future use. So for example, I just put my money in my bank account. I know that maybe in the future I'll buy maybe a phone or something, so I'll put money aside. But investment is actually buying securities or assets to earn an interest or a return on the investment. So that's the distinction. So if I put money in my shoebox, I'm not investing, I'm just saving.
Interesting.
Now,
I always thought I was saving when I put money. I was investing.
When
I put money down.
No, so for Ronnie, so generally we have many investment vehicles in Ghana.
Yes.
So the first one that's most common to most people is the Treasury Bills. Now, what are Treasury Bills? Treasury Bills are just discounted instruments from the government. What do I mean by discounted? So what I mean is, for example, if you want to buy 1,000 cedis Treasury bill, right, the government would debit your account or take, let's say, 940 cedis from your account. Then when the thing matures, let's say after 6 months, they'll give you the 1,000 cedis. So you pay less and you get what you want at the end of the month. That's what you call discounted. A little bit of education on this. So if you look at maybe a Bank of Ghana website and you see that they've quoted 14% per annum and you buy a 6 months Treasury bill, it doesn't mean that you are getting 40% for the 6 months. The 14% is for the whole year.
Okay.
So if you're getting, so for the 6 months, you'll be getting maybe effectively 7%.
Okay.
So you need to understand so that someone will just go that it's written 14%, but I'm not getting 14%. So it's important that we actually clear that. Now, the next thing that's available is fixed deposits. Now fixed deposits, the key words are you need a principal, an interest, and a period or a tenor. Now, the first thing is, let's say I have, let's say an example of the 1,000 cedis. But this time, the bank or wherever you're depositing will take your 1,000 cedis,
Okay.
apply the 14% on it, let's say 140 cedis. Then after 6 months, they'll give you 1,140 cedis.
Okay.
So you make
So you
a
see
profit
the
of 140.
Yes.
But you see the distinction between the treasury bills and the
But you're, for fixed deposits,
Yeah.
you're not allowed to touch the money.
Money.
Exactly.
that you-
Yeah,
okay.
exactly. Now the next thing available is also called equities or stocks or shares. So for equities, right, it's just a unit holding in a company, and it's usually traded on the stock exchange market.
Okay.
Now the thing about equity that we need to know that it's like it's affected by information and sentiment. Now prices of equities keep going up and down. So you need to, if you are someone that you don't have the heart to actually go through that or go through that stages, you need to actually be careful when you invest in equities. But equities are very good investment usually for the long term. Now the last thing I want to touch about, which will probably suit Ronnie more, is the unit trust and the mutual funds. Now unit trust and mutual funds they have the same underlying principle, but just that they are different in terms of the legal structure. So what happens is, for example, Ronnie is earning between 3,000 to 6,000. If he goes to, let's say, a bank A, to deposit or to make a fixed deposit, they wouldn't give him a high interest rate. So what mutual funds and unit trust does is, it brings a pool of investors together, then aggregates their monies, appoints a fund manager, then the fund manager invests on their behalf. Now, the thousand for many people now becomes 1 million cedis.
Yeah.
Now the million cedis can actually pull a 16% or a 20% rate, but that also depends on the general treasury bill rate at that time. So Ronnie will be best suited if he invests in mutual funds and unit trust. One thing that makes unit trust and mutual funds good is, for most of them, you can actually top up or withdraw at a particular point in time, anytime.
Okay.
So for example, if you can also set a monthly standing order. So for example, you're earning 1,000 cedis, or let's say in Ronnie's case 3,000 cedis or 6,000 cedis. You write to your bank.
Yeah.
Every month, debit my account to, let's say, 50 cedis and credit this particular bank.
Okay.
You understand? So even though it's flexible, it's that you can actually save at every point in time. You can also, if at any point in time you can want to withdraw, you can actually withdraw at the same time. Unlike fixed deposit, when it's for a particular period, or treasury bill that's for a particular period, mutual funds are relatively flexible. You understand? But I don't know, but there's things that you need to know as an investor before you actually invest.
I want to get a bit practical, okay? Now, this is a very scientific financial analysis that you give, but I want to bring it down to the understanding of, the average worker earning the same thing, who's got a few responsibilities on his head. Now, are these savings and these investments realistic, considering the fact that I'm probably saving 50 Ghana cedis every month? At the end of the year, I have 600 Ghana cedis. Is it really profitable to me? Have I saved enough to make change in my life?
So it's good that you mentioned. Now you need to know what your investment goals are. If I'm just saving for capital appreciation, right, I'll just put something little aside. If I want to save to get a return, I know that then I need to put in extra efforts to actually save more. So it has to skew down to your objectives for saving. If you're just saving just for saving, you just put something little aside. Just okay, now maybe at the end of the year, I just want to just party. So 600 cedis will do good for me. But if you actually want to build something, then you need to actually save more. So your investment objectives are actually very critical in the saving. So if it's 50 cedis you want to do, fine, because of that objective that you have. But if you want to do, let's say, build, 50 cedis won't help you build. Maybe 1,000 cedis or 500 cedis every month will help you actually get to your goal. So your investment objective is very, very important.
So this might also sound, real quickly, this might also sound a bit, but I want to bring it down, okay, really down. What would be an ideal Monday to Sunday lifestyle for somebody like Ronnie? What would you recommend? What lifestyle would you recommend? Let's start. Monday, he goes to work, comes home.
Back.
Tuesday, what would you recommend he does to be able to save enough money that can actually be a change in his life? You see that this guy, he's making profits.
So this one, and whilst you're at it, remember that there's only one life to live.
But let me just start from that. So for Ronnie, right, he doesn't need to actually party every weekend. If you're partying twice a month, it's better than doing 4 times a month.
Okay.
So from that instead, you are cutting down something.
Yes.
Now, to make a change in your life, it's either you are getting more income or you're reducing your expenses. So you have to target which one would actually do you good. If Ronnie wants to actually do something for himself, he can get a side hustle. That is there.
Yeah.
If he also wants to also do good, he can actually reduce his expenses. Like I said, if he wants to go out 4 times a month, no, go 2 times a month. Now, a Monday morning, go to work early, avoid all the traffic, save fuel, like he says, save the fuel.
Right.
Yes.
That's what I do. I usually get to work really early and probably leave very late.
Okay.
So I end up saving my fuel, even though the same journey, but one, maybe the fuel that I'm consuming in traffic would actually be low.
I agree.
So I actually go to work very early and close very late.
I
So-
agree. Yes.
You do.
I go home late so I can save fuel.
You see, he's not going home late because he wants to save fuel. He's going home